Hey everyone, welcome back to Teacher Tech Cafe. We're here for Tuesday TNT. This week we're going to be looking at Google Maps and what we can do with those in the classroom. You can have students create their own tours. They are collaborative, they're embeddable. You can use them for journaling, story writing, all types of things. You can have all of your students work on one map. You can even have them create math and science walks that have them work through problems or learn specific things about content that you are working with. So let's take a look. If you've not used My Maps in Google before, there are a couple of ways you can get there. You can search for My Maps and you'll find Google My Maps. You can also use the Apps Launcher. It is a little bit different than just Google Maps because we're going to be adding a layer to the map. So if it's the first time you're in My Maps, you'll see a screen that looks like this because you don't have any maps yet. You would want to hit Create New Map. If you have created maps, then you will see them here in your tray. And so let's create a map today. Google pulls me into a map of the United States. It's working off of my location. So the first thing that I want to do is give my map a title. Let's imagine that I want my students to create a map about Texas ecosystems. Want them to give me information about how animals adapt to survive in the different ecosystems. So I'll hit Save. Notice I have the ability to add layers, to share, and to preview what it will look like to others. I want a layer where my students can add markers. And so I will just call this ecosystems, if I can spell that, and save. So let's zoom in a little bit. And I will get Texas here where I can see it. We see tools up at the top. We have the undo, the redo. We have our hand to move around the map. And we have markers. This is going to be key for our students to be able to work within the map. So I click Add Marker. Notice it gives me a little plus, and I'm going to drop one here in Big Bend. It pops up with a text box. I can add a title. I can add information. I'll put something short here just for our sample. We would, of course, want students to give us information, possibly ask questions so other students could answer those questions by traveling around the map. I'll put Big Bend has a dry climate. I can add image or video. Notice I have to have image URLs. We can do an image Google search. We can use YouTube video if we have the URL. If you have not used Photos for Class, this is a great website that allows students to search for items and attribute the picture to the photographer. So we are always teaching our students about using copyright correctly. So let me put in wildlife, Big Bend. See what I get. And possibly I want to talk about the different adaptations that allow organisms to survive and ask some questions. Because I need the URL, and I'm going to use this javelina here, I need to right-click and open the link in a new window. This allows me to copy the URL. Notice down at the bottom, it has an attribution to let me know who took the photo, when it was taken, and where that's located on the internet. So that teaches our kids to be sure and give credit where it's due. So let's go back into our map. I put in that URL and select, and it puts it there in the box on my map. So I can save that. Notice that I can change the color of my marker, and there are some custom icons we can use for markers. I can edit the box if I need to go back and change information. I can add more pictures or video to this same marker. I can get directions to this marker. And if I decide I don't need this box, I can use the delete feature. Students can come over here, drop another marker. And the really neat thing about Google Maps is all of your students could be working on one map at the same time. So you'll notice as we add the markers, they are listed over here in our layer. And so I will just save point 2 for sake of having a couple of markers. Now, what can we do with this? How do we get our students working on this map? If you notice the share feature here, just like other Google Docs and slides, we can have private access for ourselves. If we want our students to work on this, though, we need to change it to anyone with the link. And I want them to be able to edit the map, so I need to change that to can edit and save. Now all I need to do is share this link with my students. Let me copy that. I do want to put a check in this box down here to prevent editors from changing access and adding new people. I don't want them to take me off of the map, so I want to put that in. Now, when students go in to this URL, I could share that via Google Classroom or email, could have students type it in. They are taken directly to the map and can immediately add markers to that map. So just as easy as that, you can have students creating maps, possibly tracking the characters in a novel, maybe showing the different battles during the American Revolution or the Civil War. A couple of other things that we need to be sure and look at on our map. If we go up here to these dots, notice that I can create another map. I can copy this one. I can set a default view if I want, when they click on the map, for it to zoom in at a certain distance or at a certain place on the map. I can also embed this map into our classroom blog. The only thing that I would need to change for that to be possible is my sharing feature. I need to go in and change this to public on the web, because if I'm putting it on the blog, it needs to be available where everyone can see that. Then I can go right in here, embed on my site. It gives me an embed code that I could easily put on a class website. I click OK, and it's done.